Hello, and welcome to the Torah Outreach Program, Burst of Inspiration. Today's Burst of Inspiration is sponsored by Mrs. Chanu Goldis as a schus, a merit for all of Klal Yisrael, both here and in Eretz Yisrael, especially our hostages, the soldiers. May the hostages be freed quickly, and may the soldiers be successful. And may this war end. And also as a schus for the Torah Outreach Program. Thank you. This week's Parsha, this week's Torah reading, Parshas Chaya Sorah, begins with the passing of Sorah Imenu, our matriarch, Sorah, wife of Avram, and then goes into a detailed story of how Abraham's servant Eliezer is looking for a shidduch, a bride, for Yitzchak, Avram's son. When Avram gives him this mission, he makes him swear that he will not take anyone from the women of Canaan, go up to his family in Haran, and find there. When explaining that to Lavan and Besuel, Rivka's father and brother, he said, I was hoping that if I can't find somebody, Abraham would allow Yitzchak to marry my daughter. But Avram told me that it can't happen because I'm a descendant of Canaan, who was cursed by Noach to be an Eved Avadim, to be slaves for all time. And Avram is a descendant of Shem, who was blessed by Noach. You can't have somebody who is a blessing marry somebody who's cursed. Doesn't make a good match. So Eliezer understood that he comes from cursed stock, so to speak. But still, in the back of his mind, he was hoping, maybe. And we see that hope, that he overcame that hope and that desire within him of arrogance, maybe. He overcame it to do the right thing. How do we see that? Because before he went looking, he got to Haran where Avram told him to go, and before he started to look, he prayed. He prayed that God would show him a sign quickly and easily that this is the woman for Yitzchak. But in the beginning of his prayer, one of the notes, the cantillation of the Torah reading, is a shalshelis. A shalshelis is only seen 4 times in the Torah. A shalshelis represents, as my Rabbi Ari Ratman Zecher Tzaddik Levracha explained to us, it represents overcoming Yetzer Hara, overcoming a person's inner desire, and doing the right thing even though you don't want to. The shalshelis sounds like it's a long chain. It sounds like hesitation. Forgive me, I'm not a great singer. But it shows the person's hesitating. He's overcoming. He's having an inner moral struggle. What was his inner moral struggle? Somewhere deep down inside of him, he was hoping he wouldn't find a wife for Yitzchak. Then maybe Yitzchak would marry his daughter. But he overcame that. He overcame that because he knew that he had to fulfill his mission to the person who at that time was the greatest man in the world. afterwards, something very interesting happens. Lavan, Rivka's brother, comes out and invites him in the house after he meets Rivka, and he says, Bo Baruch Hashem, come, you who have been blessed by God. Strange. Earlier in the Torah reading, he was told he was cursed by God. Now he's told he's blessed by God. What happened? The Medrash tells us that Eliezer knew who he was. He knew who he came from. He knew he was destined to be a servant. But he took that and decided, I need to take this situation, this destiny that I have, and make the best of it. I need to become a servant of the most spiritually perfected and refined human being on the face of the planet. And he became a servant of Avram. He became such a servant that he left his own personal desires, his own personal self aside. He overcame this last vestige of personal arrogance when he prayed to find the right wife for Yitzchak, even though he wanted Yitzchak to marry his daughter. Now we see something also amazing in this parsha, that the entire Torah reading this week, I'd say about 90% of it is about Eliezer, the servant of Avram. But I'd love to ask this question when I'm with a group of people. Does anybody know how many times Eliezer's name is mentioned? And the answer is 0. Because Eliezer wasn't thinking of himself. He was on a mission. He was Eved Avram. He was a servant of Avram, and that was his goal. And he fulfilled his goal. How do we know? Because after he overcame that one last test, that one last vestige of personal arrogance, to do the right thing, and to pray for help to find somebody who is not his daughter, he is then called a Baruch Hashem, someone who is blessed by God. Anybody who's been following these videos over the past few weeks sees that there's a central theme. It'll probably come up again and again in the first book, in the book of Parshas, and that is, this world is all about tests. This world is all about self-improvement. We see it with Abraham. We saw it with Noah. And we're going to see it again and again with the other of us, with all our forefathers. But now we see it with not one of the forefathers, with a servant of one of the forefathers, Eliezer. So we see it in a different direction, but also we see something else. We see the outcome. We see it in a different vein. Somebody who his test was, he was put in this world with a very limited capacity, knowing that he can't do anything, he can't do more than be a servant of somebody else. And then taking that destiny that he was given, that curse that he was given, and using it to be the best he can be. And that's the idea of a test. That's the idea of self-perfection. We don't look at other people. We look at ourselves. Am I being the best I can be? Am I fulfilling my potential? Am I a true servant of the Borei Olam, the creator of the universe? Shabbos.